Very good afternoon if you are here in South Africa. Very good morning, very good evening if you are elsewhere in the world. And welcome to an extremely special edition of Dan Really Likes Wine with the Chenin Blanc Association of South Africa as we celebrate the Standard Bank Chenin Blanc Top 10 Challenge. There are many, many wine competitions, many wine challenges that occur through the course of the year. But for me, this one is particularly special because it celebrates a grape that has seen an almighty rise over the last few years, a grape that was very much the workhorse of the South African wine industry, had a very blue-collar feel to it, but now in its own right, and as the headline act in many leading blends, has become such a huge part of South Africa's wine success story. And so the Standard Bank Chenin Blanc Top 10 Challenge looks at a whole range of South African Chenins, and each year rewards 10, which a sparkling group of judges have decided get that top 10 berth. And we have the 10 to announce today. It goes back to 2014, this particular competition. And this year, I think from the early conversations I've had with some of the judges, the quality as good as ever. And that's not really surprising because South Africa is making such wonderful Chenin Blanc, such wonderful Chenin blends, and right around the world, not just here in South Africa, people are acknowledging that, celebrating that, and it's leading South Africa's wine charge in the Chenin Blanc category. So thank you all very much for joining us. We've got a really cool session ahead of us. Joining me in just a moment will be our head judge, and we'll have him with us in just a second. James is warming up for us. We also have Tinashe, who is also one of the judges. He'll be announcing our top 10, formerly of the Test Kitchen, now running a really exciting wine business. We'll get a glimpse of what that is as well from Tinashe. And then the godfather of South African Chenin Blanc. There's a story that when Jan van Riebeck arrived in the Cape, he was met by Ken Forrester with a glass of Chenin Blanc. I'm not sure quite how true that is, but he is somebody who is both devoted to and passionate about Chenin Blanc, and is such a big part of that Chenin Blanc story. So Ken will chat to us. And then we've got some terrific sponsors in the form of Chenin Blanc, who recognize not just what an important category this is for South African wine, but what this category can do beyond simply celebrating the individual bottles. There is money that goes to a lot of great causes, and Willie du Plessis from Standard Bank will talk us through some of those, as well as paying tribute to all of our winners. So it's an exciting time ahead of us. Please feel free, wherever you are watching us, be it on YouTube or on Facebook, to send through a comment, feed them through to us, and we'll do our best to get a few comments and a few questions to our panel of guests who are with us today. So again, on behalf of the Chenin Blanc Association, thank you for joining us. There's great excitement. There's top 10 to be announced very, very shortly. But before we do that, let's kick off with our head judge. He's had a very busy job. It's not easy drinking and tasting so much world-class Chenin Blanc, but he does it with a smile on his face. Let me bring in James from Wine Cellar, who headed up our wine pad. James, a very good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. Give us a bit of a snapshot, if you will, of 2020 as we...
Yeah, so Chenin Blanc is super exciting. It's my first year taking over the reins as the panel chair, and I had a super team to assist me. It started, I had Bula Gabra from Crow Constantia, a recent camp wine master, and adding the winemaking tech kind of information and power to the tasting. I was supported by Hugo Jacobs, who is now part of the Strauss auction team. We're all well familiar with the kind of investment kind of angle coming from that side. Then we had a slew of exciting somms. We had Penny Setti from Chef's Warehouse, bringing a kind of like a fresh, vibrant kind of energy to the whole mix, and obviously Tinashe, who's on the show today, going to tell us who the winners were. Tinashe's tasted with me quite a few times before, and I mean, absolutely superb to have him on the panel again. And then finally, we had Tendai from Indochine, Tinashe from Indochine, who, I think he was as happy as they say one can be tasting wine. So really superb stuff.
Right, we do apologise for slight technical hitch there. We've lost the visual on James for just a moment. He's probably got a large bottle of Chenin Blanc sitting just in front of his camera. We can hear you loud and clear though, James, and I think what we'd love to hear most of all is the overall quality before we go into that top 10. How difficult was it judging, and what does that say about the level of Chenin Blanc that we've got in South Africa at the moment? There we go. We've got James back. Right. The visuals to go with the sound. James,
okay.
take 2020.
So let me just, I've lost you quite a bit there, Dan, but I'm just going to talk about what we did this year. The process is pretty much standard kind of blind process of tasting. This year wasn't business as usual. One can imagine that COVID-19 played quite an effect on how we had to approach things. We applied all the necessary kind of safeguards. It was important. Thanking a sponsor like Standard Bank for making sure that this happens. I have to give a shout out to Ina and her team. They were incredible. Ina is the dame of the Chenin Blanc Association. She drives us with such passion and such a kind of dedication. And we tasted about 136 wines blind, a little bit less than previous years. But I think that's to be understood considering the circumstances. There was a lot of uncertainty at the time when we decided to go ahead with the tasting. And we found that 2019 is the star of the show. It's a vintage that I've spoken and mentioned before. It's actually superb as a vintage. The wines are vibrant. There's a great kind of vivacious energy to the wines. And we saw that in all these wines that came through. Two telling things, old vines play a role. There's some wonderful kind of oaking regimes that are being applied. And we've had a really great mix of wines from different regions and wines that celebrate the terroir of Chenin Blanc. Competition has never been stronger, and I think that's why we're seeing better and better wines. We are in the fortunate position where I'm in South Africa at the moment. We've got 2 new 100 pointers, and they're both Chenin Blancs that have been added to the mix. You think of the Olorosé and the Swartland Chenin. So Chenin is right up there as part of the world-class kind of varieties, and I think South Africa has really put it on the map. People like Ken driving that kind of agenda. Amazing to be a part of it. Awesome tasting.
Very, very exciting. There's 100 pointers adding to the general celebration of Chenin Blanc at the moment.
So yeah, Chenin for the win.
Chenin for the win, indeed. All right, James Peterson giving us that introduction as our head judge. James, thank you. We're going to move on to one of your colleagues from the judging who was part of that process, Tinashe Nyamudoka, who, if I'd spoken to Tinashe a year ago, it would have been as the man behind the test kitchen and the sommelier there. He's now part of his own operation. It's a really exciting operation. So before we touch on the judging, let's find out exactly what he's up to. Tinashe, very good afternoon. A warm welcome. Changed times for one of the great sommelier talents in South Africa. Tell us a little bit about the new business, the new operation.
Hi, Dan. Good to have you, and thank you for having me, and welcome to everyone. Yeah, like you said, exactly a year ago, I would have been holding fort at the Test Kitchen restaurant, food and wine pairing. But yeah, I've decided to take on a new challenge now based in Johannesburg. I'm running my own wine brand, Kumusha Wine, which is really drinking well. And, the nice thing about it, it started off with a bottle of Chenin Blanc from a friend of mine in the Breaded Kloof, Obster Wines. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And yeah.
Well, congratulations. It's a big step forward and a brave step forward as well, but one you're clearly excited about. And I know you're also really excited about the selection of Chenin Blanc, which we've got going. The judging process has been touched upon by James. What was it like from your perspective? How difficult was all of this?
Well, I think this was my fourth year or third year judging at the Chenin Blanc, and it's quite evident how we've come to accept all different styles of Chenin. And I think in previous panels we used to struggle in almost selecting one similar style, the bigger, much more fruitier oaky style. But I think this year was really great in that we had versatile wine panelists who would stand up for each wine stylistically. And I think in the end, we picked what is really a balanced lineup, a good lineup, fresh young wines, one unwooded, and a different spread. So I think this year was really exciting in terms of we really tore apart Chenin, really awarding its versatility.
And it's a wine that's got such a great story. We'll hear more about it from Ken Forrester shortly. But so much of South African Chenin Blanc is attracting attention around the world. Was there a lot of arguments amongst the judges, which often suggest you've got so many really good wines?
Yeah, obviously they're bound to be a lot of talking points. But I think everything was constructive, and it wasn't a matter of if the wine is not good, but it was a matter of, okay, all the wines are good, but we really need a top 10. And in the end, we have to select, a few. And I think the majority of the wines were really delicious. It was really difficult to split up to the down to the 10.
All right. Well, if you don't agree with any of the decisions, we'll have Tinashe's mobile phone number up on screen just a little later. You can give him a call. Excitement building. I see Colette Farouk and Bosman who's watching, saying she's looking forward to the lineup. Drink Chenin for the win. We'd all agree with that. Higo Jacobs can't wait. There were such good wines in the lineup. 150 with only 10 to pick. Higo, one of our top sommeliers, and one of the judges as well. Right, you had a difficult job, Tinashe. We know that. You've got it down to 10. We have our Standard Bank 2020 Chenin Blanc Top 10 Challenge winners. Let's kick off the process, which is our first wine from the list, Tinashe.
All right, so I'm going to go according to alphabetical order. And our first 2 wine entries are debut. And Ina tells me they've been knocking on the top 10 for years, but this year they finally got in. And our first winner is the Alvis Drift Private Cellar 221 Chenin Blanc 2019.
All right, we'll just switch those images around quickly. We've got a sneak preview of number 2 there. There it is, the Alvis Drift 221 Chenin Blanc from 2019. It's an estate that's doing great things at the moment, and for me, always offers not just lovely wine but terrific value. Tinashe, what was it about this wine that caught the judges' attention?
This one, I think it was the subtle work of the oaking regime. You know, it was just subtle. It had lots of bright flowers and a slight hint of earthiness, which really charmed most of the judges.
And clearly got their favour because it made the top 10. So well done to Alvis Drift with not just one, but as I think we got a sneak preview of a second ago, 2. The second one coming from exactly the same estate, Tinashe.
Yes, exactly the same state, different style. And this one is the Alvis Drift Private Cellar, the Albertus Fillon, the 2019 as well. And this had lots of citrus in it. A very elegant and sophisticated palate as well.
The same estate, the same grade. You'd expect, well, they must be quite similar, but I'm guessing there were some striking differences between the 2 wines.
Exactly. For me, I think it's not a surprise in it. And for me, I think it's a winemaker who understands the grape very well. Probably it's different vineyards who understands the style. And to make Chenin in 2 different styles, which makes it in the top 10, really tells a lot about the farm and the technique they're using.
Yeah, we talk about the versatility of Chenin Blanc. There's a great example of the versatility of a winemaker taking the same grape and delivering 2 very different but very effective stories. So 2 down. Well done to Alvis Drift, a double winner in 2020. Who's our third name on the list, Tinashe?
So the third name is from a region I frequent a lot nowadays with my Kumusha. I love the Brede River, and I believe beautiful wines are coming out from there. And we've got Badsberg Weinkelder, the barrel fermented Chenin Blanc 2019, and this is another debut as well on the list.
Congratulations to Badsberg, and well done. An area you don't just love, Tinashe, and I know you've made some wine out there, but also an area that those who do know, I think, increasingly appreciate for combining 2 wonderful elements of wine with quality and value.
Exactly, and I think, if you talk of the Brede Kloof, you're talking about exuberance. They're very generous with food there, and I think most of the winemakers are really playing it nice. Less much on the oak. This one is really have a full palate, but I think it's the balance and the abundance of fruit in this wine, which is really lovely.
Couldn't agree more. Right, we have 3 down. It's not a 1, 2, 3 in terms of the order of placing. This is all done alphabetically. So you might have missed out if you can work out how the alphabet's going. We're 3 down. What's at number 4, Tinashe?
So number 4, it's De Morgan's Reserve Chenin Blanc 2019. And this powerhouse is probably in the 6th consecutive top 10 challenge lineup. Pretty much says it all about the vineyard and the winemaker who's recently left, I suppose.
Indeed, there are some changes happening at De Morgan's on. Stellenbosch Chenin Blanc. We know the reds are always big. The Chardonnay is big and strong. Is there a distinctive character that you were finding to Stellenbosch Chenin through this tasting?
Yeah, I think it's the detail in Stellenbosch tasting. You really look at those fine boss characters coming through, lovely peach, which is like really coiled. And for me, it's a lot of spice in Stellenbosch Chenin Blancs.
Well, we've got our first acceptance speech of the day, which is nice. Adam Mason, who is the new man at De Morganson. As the new kid on the block here at De Morganson, I'm thrilled to see us on the podium for the 6th successive year. Kudos to the amazing team and this brilliant site. And that's one of many examples of a particular site consistently delivering great Chenin in partnership with a winemaker. So well done to Morganson and Adam. Good luck with the new adventure. Right, we fall down. What's number 5 on our list, Tinashe?
Number 5 is coming from Durbanville Hills, the Collector's Reserve, the Cape Garden Chenin Blanc 2019. And I think you're asking if there were a lot of debates on the table. I think this is one which stand out as well, more specifically because of the hint of reduction it has. And I know my colleague James Peterson is a fan and was defending this in one corner, but it was well balanced. And I feel it adds a bit of excitement. It adds a bit of that lift on the palate, especially for food and wine pairing. This is a must.
We know Durbanville Hills as a key site for Sauvignon Blanc here in South Africa. Chenin Blanc, maybe not quite as expected, but it's clearly showing that it's not only the Sauvignons that Durbanville can produce.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh and vibrant.
Well done, Durbanville Hills, taking advantage of that beautiful location. Lovely place to go and visit and to go and taste. All right, we're halfway through our Standard Bank Chenin Blanc Top 10 Challenge 2020 winners. Let's move on to number 6 tonight.
So number 6 is another debut on the list, and I'm pretty sure they've been entering all year. And it's from Danny Statler, and it's the Capsit Cliprac Chenin Blanc 2019, another Stellenbosch Chenin.
This is a wine I love. I think I got introduced to this by Mike Ratcliffe a few years ago, who was raving about it. It's a great wine from the Statler family, who've been doing great wine for a long time now. Also bush vine. It's something we're seeing a lot more of. The bush vine's been celebrated. Rose's project has got everybody in the wine world excited. And this is a great example of what bush vines can do, Tinashe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they bring that refined elegance, and this wine was a lot of subtle weight, very textured, did a lovely long finish to it as well, and it's one of those rich bolder styles which has been perfectly executed.
Yeah, I've had a few bottles of it. It's a really great Chenin Blanc. So congratulations to Dani and to Patrick. I've got a feeling that by way of celebration, Dani might just have a braai, given that he tends to have 3 or 4 of them a day. Looking at the smoke above Patrick later on this afternoon. Okay, let's continue. What's up next, Tinashe?
So the next one, I'm glad the guy who made it is still here, and probably it was a perfect parting way from Mauderbosch Vineyards for Adam. So it's the Mauderbosch Vineyards single vineyard Chenin Blanc, the Block S2 2018. Lovely honey top notes on this wine, lots of oak spice, roasted nuts. That fine bossy character from Stellenbosch was coming through as well. And I think it's quite complex and very firm end. So Adam is moving from one Chenin Blanc to another good Chenin vineyard as well.
That's good news for De Morganson, and in some ways they've almost got 2 victories today. So well done, Adam, and great to see the Mauderbosch there. It is a lovely, lovely wine, as it would be by featuring in our top 10. Right, moving towards the end. Next on our list, Tinashe, who's our next winner?
Next winner is a Perignon on the top 10. It's coming from Spear, the 21 Gables Chenin Blanc 2019.
And a fine wine it is. What was it about this one that got the judges excited, Tinashe?
Yeah, it's the inviting spice again from Stellenbosch, multi-layered. It had also a bit of hint of that reductiveness we'll be talking about. So all those coupled in one wine gives you a wine you can enjoy on its own, and definitely with a lot of dishes.
We've got somebody very happy, Monique Schlutters, which is a very simple word and lots of exclamation marks. Monique is very happy. Yay, she says. I'm not sure which one you're celebrating. Maybe just all of them. Maybe you're just very excited to be watching the show, Monique. But I suspect it is a particular wine. and whichever one that is, congratulations and well done. All right, almost wrapped up, Tinashe. What's next?
Yeah, so what's next is the other winery which had 2 wines on the selection. Totally different styles, again showing the versatility of Chenin Blanc. And these guys have been on the list for a couple of years. Stellenras Chenin Blanc, the first one. And if I'm correct, it's the first unwooded Chenin Blanc in the entire time the competition has been running.
It is a breakthrough. I'll be interested to find out exactly what Ken Forrester thinks of that. But I think it's great to see because, again, it speaks, Tinashe, to the diversity of Chenin Blanc, what we can do with it, the fun we can have with it, and the success we can have with it.
Yeah, and I think, again, I have to give it up to the panelists. You know, they were very bold, you know, to pick up something which is stylistically different from the Chenin Blancs we know, and putting an unwooded Chenin Blanc usually in a judging panel is difficult to overlook because of the power and elegance of the others. And I think this was a beautiful wine. We should be enjoyed.
We've got a very happy Adam Mason again, referring back to the win with Mulderbosch. Awesome result, beautiful bush vines and by Javi Dubois. Massel selection and shepherded into bottle by Mick Craven and the crew at the Mulder Sabos. Well done again, Adam. It's been a good day for you. Clarification on Monique. She is celebrating everybody, but in particular to Spear. Well done, Spear, says Monique. Congratulations, guys. Mareka Roberts saying that everybody is a winner. They're all terrific winners. They are indeed. South Africa is a winner with our great quality of Chenin. Alvi van der Merwe. With so many brilliant Chenin Blancs, says Alvi, it's a great honor and tribute to our vineyard and winemaking team. Congratulations to all of the winners and runners-up. Alvi, well done. Very, very successful day there. And Wim Braak loving the Spear 21 Gable Chenin. That'll make Monique very happy indeed. All right, we're 9 bottles of Chenin Blanc down, Mr. Nyamudoka. What is our final winner for the top 10 for this year?
So the final winner again is from Stellenras Dan. This time is the Mana Barrel Fermented Chenin Blanc 2019. Very youthful, but it's got a lot of zestiness, bright acidity, you know, and this thing I think will really age well.
Again, I'll ask you a similar question to Alvi's Drift. We've got Stellenras. Two different wines. We know the previous one was wooded, but again, it's just a great example of how, with a bit of flair and a bit of creativity and a bit of vision, winemakers can do so much with a grape in so many different styles.
Exactly. You know, I'm excited. And another thing of note is the spread of price. You know, we always, I think there's something from, I was checking the price list for the wines, you know, you got from 68 Rand to close to 500 Rand. So, which is quite interesting that you can find value at any price point of Chenin in South Africa.
I think that's such an important part of our Chenin Blanc story. More congratulations coming in. Siobhan Thompson from Wines of South Africa. Well done to all winners. What an amazing lineup of world-class Chenin. Tendai Marisa, well done to all of the winners. And then Kathy van Sale, congratulations to all the winners, especially the new names on the podium and specifically the old stalwarts. And there has been a nice blend of new and old names. Congratulations to all. Tinashe, before we let you go with our thanks, you come from not just a wine background, but a wine and food background, specifically the Test Kitchen, but many other restaurants before then. If you had to pull out a bottle of Chenin Blanc, in as much as we can be generic, what are you eating with your Chenin Blanc? What for you is the dish that really brings the best out of a bottle of South African Chenin?
For me, I think curry does it for me. Curry with different sambals, I think it will be quite versatile. You know, the richness and suppleness in the Chenin Blanc really tones out the hotness and spiciness in the curry. So I think for a generic dish, I would go definitely curry.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been eating a lot of spicy food with Chenin Blanc over the last few months. I've had a lot of lockdown, and it's been a very, very rewarding experience. Anthony Koch, well done to all, and go Team Spear. Marina Kalle, congratulations on the top 10 winners. The Wines of South Africa team is looking forward to promoting all of these and other Chenins going forward. Thanks to Wines of South Africa continuing to do such a fabulous job. Jax the Hood, well done to all. Drink Chenin. Jax from Wine Magazine, where she spends most of her time stopping Christian Eads and Greg Sherwood from fighting about 18 points on Twitter. And Kaleo Fari, thank you for a great top 10 presentation. New top 10 laureates, great trusted return winners too. Value at every price point indeed. And Francois Sille, some fantastic examples. Well done. We're certainly not done now. We're going to cross to Ken Forrester in just a moment to get some thoughts. Tinashe, as we would say in our shared home of Zimbabwe, Tatenda Changu Shamwari. It was great to have not just the announcement, but to have your input along with all of the rest of the judges. And best of luck with drinking all the rest of that, Shannon, but also with the Kamusha brand and your new ventures. Enjoy, and I know it's going to be a huge success.
Thanks, Dan, and drink, Shannon.
We certainly will. In fact, I've got a glass here, which I'm going to drink in toast and pay tribute to our top 10 winners. Martin Moore, great to be here for the second year in a row. Great lineup of Shannons. We're proud to bring Cool Climate Shannon to the party. Congratulations, Martin, and well done. Well, let's get some expert opinion on our top 10 from the man who wrote the book on Chenin Blanc in South Africa, and largely by drinking every bottle he could get his hands on. He's a wonderful character. He's an enormous supporter of South African wine, and he's a great friend of mine. A very good afternoon, Mr. Ken Forrester.
Dan, hi, how are you? And cheers to all the winners. A little sparkling Chenin to congratulate you all. And Dan, it's really fantastic for you to have taken on the Chenin Blanc Challenge, all 10 of them. And you seem to be winning. You're doing a great job, Dan. Well done. Thank you. It's a wonderful new format for announcing.
I've only finished half a bottle of each, Ken, so I haven't quite gone full Forrester on them. Give us your thoughts. As I see it, it's a very diverse group of winners, very exciting. Stylistically, there's a whole range. Tinashe's referred to the price points. For me, it does what this kind of competition should in the Standard Bank Top 10 Challenge, and that's celebrate this wonderful diversity of Chenin Blanc in South Africa.
I think it's great. We've got 6 winners from Stellenbosch. And then from Badsburg, we've got Albies Drift as well. We've got from a nice spattering right across the kind of Chenin range. And we're seeing, as Tinashe said, from 68 Rand to nearly 500 Rand a bottle. And 2 producers with 2 wines of different styles speaks to the level of the judges, where the judges are not just simply judging the style of wine, but they're looking for balance. They're looking for fruit intensity. They're looking for well-made wine. And congratulations to those 2 producers for producing 2 wines each in the top 10. That is some good shooting. That really is some fantastic winemaking, and well done on their part. So I think that the whole thing for us, you're quite right, Dan, it was almost back to the day of Jan van Riebeeck when we started with Chenin. And thanks to van Riebeeck for bringing the Chenin into the country in the very first place, because that certainly helped. But it was only 20 odd years ago, 25 years ago, when I tackled Chenin, took Chenin on, and there was very little going on for Chenin Blanc. Hilco Hegewisch at Boschendal was making a little bit of Chenin Blanc. Jean Daniel at Morganson was making a little bit of Chenin, barrel fermented, and there was very little else happening. I mean, it was an unknown grape, if you like, and barely anybody was interested in making Chenin Blanc into a kind of serious project. When I look at what's happened in that short 20, 25 years, when I look at what's happened in that brief wink of an eye, the guys making wine today are almost unequivocally saying, well, Chenin Blanc's naturally what you use to make great wine. Obviously, it's here, and there's so much of it, and it's in such good locations. You know, we have about 18,000 hectares of Chenin Blanc planted throughout the country. And if one were to use averages, and averages are difficult things, because essentially I drink 2.1 bottles of wine a day. I've never seen 0.1 of a bottle of wine, if you know what I mean. But if we look at averages and we say on average, we get approximately 8 tons per hectare across the country. We're looking at close on 150,000 tons of Chenin Blanc a year. And the Chenin Blanc Association, with the support and the aid of its members, and Standard Bank has played a pivotal role, an absolutely fantastic support role. Thank you to the bank. If you look at what we've done to create an interest in Chenin Blanc through the association over the last 10 years, the price of Chenin Blanc has most certainly risen 2,000 Rand a ton in the last 10 years, perhaps 3,000 Rand a ton, perhaps 4,000 Rand a ton. But let me just say to you, for every 1,000 Rand a ton that the price has gone up, the producers in South Africa earn an extra 150 million Rand a year. That's the impact on the industry, and that trickles all the way down. That goes all the way to the workforce. So it really makes, I think Chenin Blanc has made a massive difference to the South African wine industry, and it's quantifiable and it's justifiable. When you look at the beautiful wines that are produced with Chenin Blanc, when you look at the great wines, and from every price point just about, you've got great Chenin. We went just probably 10 or 12 years ago, the Chenin Blanc Association went on a hunt to find the oldest Chenin Blanc vineyards in the country. This was before the Old Vine Project had started, in fact. And we awarded certificates of custodianship to these guys, the producers, with those oldest vineyards. And of the 5 vineyards that we awarded awards to, 4 of them are still in the ground. So it really has made a difference. And there's a lot of old vine Chenin around, possibly the most in the world. And so Chenin Blanc has in front of it a fantastic future. This is just the beginning. This is just the start. That's the best of it all. We're going to see more and more better Chenin Blancs. You know, if you have a look at the growth of Chenin Blanc, Tim Atkins' guide, which has just been released, he had 32 Chenin Blancs over 95 points this year. The Platter guide last year, I think, was 18 5-star Chenin Blancs. To put that 32 Chenin Blancs over 95 points in perspective, there were 3 Sauvignon Blancs over 95 points and 12 Chardonnays. So Chenin Blanc leads the charge for our white wines in terms of the critics' quality assessment. And I think we can really, really look to a wonderful future. And to the younger guys, the girls out there making Chenin Blanc, well done. Keep it up. Keep that fire burning. It's wonderful to see. Feels like we've passed the baton on to you.
That is both a rousing endorsement of Chenin Blanc and also the shortest answer Ken Forrester has ever given to a question. It came in at under half an hour, which is pleasantly surprising. Ken, just before we let you go, you rightly get a huge amount of acclaim for the work you have done and continue to do with Chenin Blanc. We've heard from our judges who've been great supporters. We've seen wines of South Africa, talking about it just in the comments today with Siobhan coming through and Morena. What about a quick word for Ina and the remarkable contribution she makes to Chenin Blanc in South Africa?
The Madame Chenin, there could be no better person, better placed. I can't believe the job that she has done. She deserves a knighthood, I think, from the Chenin Blanc Association, from the industry. She's done an amazing job for Chenin Blanc. Her interest, her passion, her life revolves around Chenin Blanc. Her current project is an international Chenin Blanc Congress, which was scheduled to take place in July next year here in Stellenbosch. We've moved it to the first week of November next year, and she is so excited. I mean, she's got the days planned already. She can tell you what we're serving for lunch. I mean, she's got this down, and it's that attention to detail. It's her personable way, the way that she interacts with people, and nothing is too much trouble. She's just come back from a trip up to the Karoo for a Stoop tasting representing Chenin Blanc, pouring Chenin Blanc in the middle of the Karoo. I mean, she's amazing. So hats off and a sincere cheers and round of applause to Ina Smith. Without her, this wouldn't have happened.
It is such a big reason for the success. And it's a lovely story as well, how Ina first encountered Chenin Blanc through her father, who was at school with Ken, and that relationship has carried on ever since. So Ken Forrester, thank you very, very much indeed. And thank you for your continued support of Chenin Blanc, such a wonderful character and wonderful winemaker in our winemaking community. We have one final guest to chat to, and I know he's both happy and proud in equal measure as our sponsor. Before we do that, a couple of quick comments. Llewellyn Lambert saying open borders and soon to open a few bottles of Chenin. If you haven't already, what a time to be alive. Congratulations to all. Thanks, Llewellyn. Jordan Wine Estate, well done to everyone. Great selection of wines. With the hashtag premium at play, there's certainly some premium Chenin here and premium Chenin around the world, but also some very accessible Chenin when it comes to price and yet still delivering such great quality. And Melody Buerta, congratulations to all the winners. Great to have a Breedekloof wine in the lineup. Well done, Badsburg Wine Cellar, Breedekloof Wine Valley, and the Breedekloof Makers. Now, Breedekloof Makers, great collection of winemakers. I've spent a bit of time with them, done some tasting, and they do champion Chenin Blanc in particular with such enthusiasm. Right, and an event like this, a celebration like this, needs a big brand to get behind it to ensure that we can make the most of paying tribute to our winners, and that big brand is Standard Bank. So I'd like to ask Willie du Plessis to join us. Officially, he is down in the Western Cape with client services, but unofficially, I believe he's Standard Bank's global head of Chenin Blanc. So let's cross over to Willie. Willie, lovely to have some celebration to do. Lovely to be able to, in quite tough times, have reason to cheer something so proudly South African.
Yes, Dan, thank you very much. Really a great excitement for Standard Bank. It's really being a highlight in my calendar and on the bank's calendar every year when we announce the top 10 Chenin Blanc Standard Bank winners. And congratulations to the top 10. It's great to listen and to hear the names and to see the people that's just been succeeding. And when we engaged the winemakers last year, they told us the winemaking team is much more than just the winemaker. It is a bigger group of workers who puts in hours and efforts to make it work. And that's the exciting part of the Standard Bank Chenin Blanc sponsorship. Since 2014, every year, every top 10 winner selects a project. And then we celebrate that project. The project gets announced. We're there when the winning money are being handed over. And, we share in the joy and the excitement of the beneficiaries. And over since 2014, over these couple of years, a total of 1.35 million to date has been spent on creches, aftercare facilities, early childhood learning programs, tertiary training programs, libraries, other educational resources, as well as the development of housing materials, and supporting also the Pebbles project. That's an NGO that develops social service interventions. So a couple of projects, that really stand out for us, where particularly the focus was on education and on housing. And the great pieces for us is that it's also aligned to the bank's social economic focus. And education is important to us. That's the youth, that's the future. And it's important that to see that the winning sellers and winning teams are using the winning money so wisely and spend it on projects where it makes a big difference. So great for us, great alignment to the bank's expectation, great alignment to the bank's growth strategy in the wine industry. I've just been listening to the top 10 winners this year, and almost all of them do bank with us and has got a banking relationship with the bank. So really great excitement. Alfie, you have got 2 wines this year. Tinashe, Stellenbosch, 2 wines here. Fantastic, guys. Well done. Great. Also great customers of Standard Bank. And we do look forward to more impactful projects in the local communities of the winners of 2020. Adding up the total money being paid over in total since 2014, including 2020, will take us to 1.6 million in total, which is a fantastic number where we know these projects that make a big difference in the lives of a lot of people. Great and well done, and Ken and Ina for the great support and great partnership in Chenin Blanc Standard Bank. Cheers to all. Have a very great afternoon, and thanks for allowing Standard Bank this opportunity also to present and give us our views. Thank you very much.
Oh, Willie, thank you very, very much indeed. It just shows you that there's a really personal feel to this particular sponsorship, Standard Bank, beyond just simply putting a brand up behind it, really getting involved, seeing money going into communities, seeing the Chenin Blanc Awards doing more than just put a sticker on a bottle, but actually have a meaningful impact in communities, and particularly communities around the winelands and a lot of the wine estates with whom Standard Bank has such a warm and long-standing relationship. So, Vili, thank you very much. I suspect there'll be a glass of celebratory Chenin Blanc with dinner this evening, and rightly so, as there should be with everybody, as we pay tribute to what's been a fantastic day. So, Vili, on behalf of all of us, thank you very much for the continued support, and enjoy that glass of wine tonight. And a big thank you to everybody who has been part of today. We've had a whole bunch of people watching on both Facebook and on YouTube to find out who the top 10 are, and a great top 10 they have been. But as our judges suggested, although there are just the 10 bottles that get the stickers, the quality of Chenin Blanc across the board is quite fantastic. And while some of those bottles are a little more expensive than others, you can still get some extraordinary value at some daft prices, particularly if you put them into international currency terms and realize just what we're paying for such good wine. And that good wine comes from our terrific winemakers, who we thank for continuing to fly the South African flag so high, and that Chenin Blanc flag in particular, as we've seen today. So to James Peterson, who chaired up a panel of judges that brought in some very diverse palates, some very diverse experience, but collectively, I think a really good set of judges to evaluate our wines and evaluate them to give us 10 wines that are very different stylistically, but I think give a great story of Chenin Blanc here in South Africa. Big thank you also to Tess and Marlies for all of their work behind the scenes. We trust you have enjoyed it. If you'd like to get a little more detail on the winners, if you'd like to know more about the wines, the technical details in particular, if you are so minded, you'll see the website at the bottom of the screen. It's www.chenin.co.za. Nice and easy to find. And you can go and have a look at those top 10 winners and get a little more information on them, and start looking out for them when you head out to go and buy some wine and stock up your cellar, as we can now do. Once again, big thank you to the Chenin Blanc Association for the platform, doing terrific work to celebrate Chenin and, by extension, South African wine, both in South Africa and right around the world. It's been a pleasure having all of you wherever you are. Please, if you get the chance, maybe right now, maybe this afternoon, maybe over dinner, open a glass of Chenin Blanc, enjoy it, raise a glass to Chenin Blanc in South Africa, to the South African wine industry, and to a really special day as we pay tribute to our Standard Bank Chenin Blanc Top 10 Challenge winners, 8 states, 10 wines, and in 2020, a reminder that nobody does Chenin Blanc quite like South Africa. I'm Dan Nicol. Thanks for joining us. It's been a great production from Dan Really Likes Wine and the Chenin Blanc Association of South Africa. Drink Chenin. Cheers.